what I was saying here is that we're back. Avendyr's Pass. This is the first time we've seen it since 2020. As far as I can remember, anyway. The last time I remember seeing AVP was in 2020, and we're pretty excited to check it out again. Now, this stream, what we're doing here is a dedicated static group, right? It's just the normal gameplay flow that we would see on this stream if I was playing any other MMO. So we're going to be trying to find a place to hunker down in AVP, a good camp, maybe some good named, and we're just going to push it for the next 2 or so hours and see what we can do level-wise. At the moment, we are the highest level group on the server. I think a second group is just now hitting level 11, but we've been level 11 for a bit. We're closing in on 12, so we might be able to hit 12 during this stream. But yeah, I should not be muted now, right? You guys can hear me? We got some crafted weapons, great. Halberd, thanks for the sub. It's good to see a lot of you guys back. This is a really good sword. So check this out. What I'm using right now is a spectral longsword, 15 damage, 3.9 delay. Not bad, but it is temporary. So if I were to crash or forget to trade it when I camp, we would lose it. And we just got this crafted sword, lion marked blade, or possibly a name drop. I don't know where they got it from. 19 damage, 4 delay, 2 agility, 2 hit rating. The hit rating will be big because as a paladin, most of my stuff is not like a guaranteed hit. And it sucks when I waste a bunch of resource and I miss. But with that said, we're going to get rolling here. So, all right, let's take it away. Ghastly, you should have just called my phone and told me I was muted. Feel bad. Variety, good to see you. Taco, good to see you. Rhett, what's up, dude? Last time I played with like all my settings dialed down to like the minimum, but now the game is running a lot more smoothly. Back then I had some frame rate issues and some issues with like the stream and everything, and that was all, especially when I was in like heavy city areas. The frame rate isn't like 1,000,000% here or anything right now, but it feels really good, and it's a lot more lightweight than 6 months ago when we played. This is our first time ever seeing this shaman pet. You need level 10 to summon this pet, so we just got it recently. Like, we couldn't afford it when we first got to level 10 because it was pretty expensive. Right now, spells are like, I would say like 18 silver, 20 silver per level per spell. And that's about as much. Like, so basically every time you level, you can pick one spell. You know what I mean? And you're getting like 2 or more. But yeah, so we have just left the town Demyth. It is the second little town area in the game that we've encountered. We have Avelia, which we've seen in Thronefast. I'm sure you guys have seen it, and a bunch of other streams here. And Demyth I like. It feels natural, like it's got these big wooden walls, and I remember seeing it even in the videos a long time ago. And we, of course, had it in earlier versions of pre-alpha. But right now, the big thing is it's got everything you need. So you move from Thronefast, you've got all your spells and stuff still available in this city, so you don't have to come back and forth between all the areas or make like a 20-minute trek at the moment. I don't know if that'll persist, but that's where it is right now. Gotta watch my falling damage here. Only 4 damage, it's not bad. So we have not explored Avendyr's Pass very much. This just came up around 1 p.m. Eastern time. Server stability has been great. It's been packed. They've had to push up some other servers for people to test on. But we spent the vast majority of our time so far in Thronefast, basically sticking to areas that we knew so that we would be able to level as quickly as we could. I'm going to turn up my nameplate distance a bit. Just max it out. All right, so here we have a forest troll. I don't think it's been killed yet in this iteration of Avendyr's Pass. We had another group in our guild that went and tried this, and they wiped. So we'll see where we land with it. You guys ready for this? I don't have any wrath. Is there anything nearby that we can kill first? So as a paladin, I have a few different resources that I use. The first resource is what we call readiness. It's what basically every melee has, and it just accrues over time. My second resource is called Wrath. I get it from being hit, basically successfully tanking things. I get more and more Wrath, and a lot of my abilities use Wrath. Lastly, I have Reckoning points, which are just over time, they fill up. And I think like to do a full regen, it's like over 5 minutes for these. Go ahead and kill the Plague Beetle. So that Plague Beetle, we're fighting to just get me some Wrath before we engage this guy. The way my loop here works is I use my Insight, which forces this thing to attack me for 3 seconds, and then it gives me an additional 3 seconds of increased threat. And during that period of time, I'm trying to fire off whatever abilities I can get off cooldown. So I'll use it, then I'll roll into my second ability, which generates just a bunch of threat, and my third ability, which does damage and heals. I have an AE ability I can use that generates hate in a small area around the paladin, which I just used, called Wrathful Aegis. It's an 8-meter radius. It's pretty tight. I might actually have to move closer to this guy. I don't know. And it slowly does like a minor amount of divine damage to things that are in that sphere. Outside of that, I have a heal that is using this Wrath meter. You can see I'm not consuming a ton of Wrath, which is what makes me so durable as a paladin. I don't have the best threat like a Dire Lord. The other tank class has a significantly higher threat capability than a paladin does right now, but I'm pretty unkillable if something doesn't just like spike me down right away. Because Oathflame is relatively affordable when I'm tanking, and I can hit it a lot. So right now my group is myself, Paladin, Biggs the Monk, Kumu the Shaman, our only healer. We have First and Quina as rogues, and then Zinix the Wizard. And I think this is exactly the same group I had last time I streamed Pantheon, except Quina was playing the Dire Lord last time, and I was playing a rogue. There we go. So we killed that troll. And it looks like it has no loot. But it was cool. I think that's the first time I've seen that model. We have the new wolf pet. I'm not sure how its DPS is yet. Oh, Halberds, you were in that group that tried it at level 8? So you guys got it halfway dead, but your group was built totally different, right? You were running a group that is 2 healer. So you're like, not a ton of DPS, but you're very sturdy, right? I wonder what the respawn time is on that. Yeah, dude, it's dancing. Bard is not available right now. Six AC, baby. My previous gloves were 2 AC, so that's a triple. Really nice. But I lose 1 strength. 1 strength isn't huge, but stats are relatively low in Pantheon. We've got 19 strength right now, and they go up a bit every time I level. I started with like 7 strength. The Enchanter, it's good. I mean, like, it's really good. But I don't think we've gotten to Charming yet, you know what I mean? So it's not at a point right now where I would say it's a DPS powerhouse. It contributes to the DPS of the other groups a little bit. But for us, we wanted to just really like go deep on DPS. And in fact, I think we only are running the Wizard because occasionally the resistances, it helps. And it later on, the Wizard is going to have a buff that lets the melee do a ton of extra DPS via procs. Otherwise, we would just run a second Monk. Like, when we're doing this, one of the things that we're trying to consider here is optimal DPS. And it's like, Rogue is the best DPS class overall right now, we think. You know, level ranges change all that stuff too. But We think that rogues are generally the best, but the problem is it requires them to be geared. And if we have 3 rogues, then they're not going to be geared. So right now we're running 2 rogues. We think that's about the most that we can consistently keep geared while we're leveling. We have the 1 monk who's a pooler, backup tank, and also pretty good DPS. Monks are kind of like all-rounders. And then our wizard is solid DPS, and then later on he's going to enhance everybody else. We do not have mage in yet. Thix, what's going on, dude? So right now, we can check the time here. It is 4 a.m. in game. So you're seeing the nighttime up first. And it is, as you can see, it's very dark. We have like little lanterns on our belts. Let me make sure I have one. I do. I have a lantern belt too, yeah. And we're keeping that because like it's better than using a torch, which you have to hold. This grizzly is yellow. And it's really the only way to reliably see at night at the moment. We don't have any buffs that give like better line of sight. We don't have any of that kind of stuff. So the belt is only 1 AC, and we haven't found a lantern upgrade yet. But I'm only missing out on like 2 AC from the best belt that we've seen. So it's not the biggest of deals. Avril, what's going on? Tamina? Dread1, what's going on, dude? You ready for TLP 25? Chill Logan, good to see you. Looks like we have some hostile pathers here. Looks like another group is grabbing this. Our monk got dropped. So hopefully you don't see it too much, but right now, and in Pantheon in general, when you get killed, quote killed, you enter a near-death state. I'm sure you probably have seen it in other Pantheon streams, but you're kind of like downed. And you can move around a little bit, and then if you get healed, you can come back. But you can only do it so often. I don't know exactly what the cooldown is, but like if Biggs were to get knocked down again right now, he would just straight up die. Or if you get hit while you're in that form, you'll die. I think the timer's about 5 minutes, so not too dissimilar to like res effects and EQ. Yeah, hopefully the rule set for 2025. No, not 2025. 25th anniversary is good. I kind of wish EverQuest launched in the year 2000 so that I wouldn't have to think the 25th anniversary in 2024. Up here you can see I have a ton of buffs, and with the Shaman, the majority of the heals that we're going to get are going to run as HOTS. So you also see my heals up here. It helps if I like contribute to my group while I talk. Here I have Mantle of Mist. It gives me 5 health every 2.5 seconds. I've got Mark of the Fire Claw, just increases my dex and fire resist. We don't care about the fire resist right now, but the dex is big for my hit chance. But we just had a pop right on top of us. I have Awakened Courage, which is just your standard HP AC. We have Windstrider, like the best buff in the game. This is Spirit of Wolf, pretty much. It increases my sprint speed a little bit, but significantly changes the rate that my endurance drains because you can only sprint for so long. We have Grip of Shale, increasing my strength and stamina by 2, which is actually big. And it's also like the first buff shamans get. And then lastly, Burning Weapon. So this is that wizard spell that gives me another chance to proc. I also run Hymn of Devotion, which is just like an aura around me that increases the healing effectiveness of people in my party. How did I get into alpha? I was a backer of the Ooh. You guys see Kyan over here? Yeah, I was a backer during the Kickstarter. We don't know how red this is. Yeah, pretty much money, right? And then streaming was just signing up for the streaming program and getting selected. Nurgon. Yeah, I saw Nurgon was in here, but I haven't really talked to him in here. I was told he hits for 188 damage. Thank you, Akbach, for letting us know. So remember, this is week 1. This is day 1, but this is the first stream we'll be doing. But the plan right now is to stream every Saturday. So Saturday is always, I think, going to be the day that the fresh content comes out whenever we get new content added, which is pretty exciting. And I think they're doing it every couple of weeks. So every few weeks we'll be able to see brand new stuff. But since we're doing 2-hour blocks, I can't show you like all of Avendyr's Pass or even Throne Fast in 2 hours because the zones are massive. They're really huge. But my hope is that, every Saturday we'll be able to show off a little bit more and more of each of one of these zones. We'll try to zero in on new camps and stuff. And depending on how we level, we might even bring up different characters and stuff so that you're not always seeing like some over-leveled paladin rolling through everything. Oh, thanks, Day Draco. Yeah, he hits for 188. What's my health right now? 210, so I'd be dead within like seconds. We're entering a cave. I've got this thing called Light Guard, where I can parry the next source of physical damage. So if I see, like, whenever an NPC is going to do something like a special attack, you can see when they're using skills, just like the way we're using skills. Like, I'll see a little charge up bar as they're casting it. And if I'm paying attention, which I'm usually not, especially when we're streaming and talking to people, but even when we aren't doing that, I'm not paying attention. But if I do notice it, I can parry it and just take no damage. Do a little mining here. I want to dedicate the time. I haven't worked on my mining skills, so when I'm trying to mine these higher level ores, it just takes me forever. Right now we do have like all the grass and stuff on. I hate having that stuff on in any video game. This is what it looks like without it. I think it's way better personally. But last time we streamed, everyone was like, why is the grass on? So here's the grass. I'll keep it on, folks. Yeah, you can have like different level picks and your mining skill increases. All of that stuff will contribute to your mining time. In future weeks, if we stream again, you'll see a lot more of that kind of content. But because the server was totally reset, you know what I mean? It came out today, starting at level 1. Our only goal was, like, how could we create the most powerful possible group by the time that we were scheduled to stream? And this is what we did. And, we basically went all in on levels. We barely got any gear in the group. So yeah, we're strong, but we're like a little bit janky right now. We haven't leveled up our trade skills and stuff. And there's definitely a lot of early game, like, good equipment that you can get with trade skills. Some of the best early game clubs and stuff you make by chopping down pine trees, and then you can upgrade from there. I guess in that way it feels a lot like a traditional static group where you're basically like half naked, just holding odds and ends. But with a week in between, we'll have plenty of time to shore those bits up. Do we know what's in this hole? That looks like adventure down there. No plat dupes yet. Actually, Rhett, there was long ago, there was a dupe. I think we've encountered a couple dupes that got fixed. We always just report them, right? Show how they're done, and then within a patch or two, they're repaired. Speaking of that, my EverQuesters here will be excited. Special episode coming out soon of Drama Quest. I think I'm going to be recording it tomorrow. The Mischief Plat dupe. All details revealed. We're dropping names. We're talking about methodologies. Everything that I know, you will know. It'd be cool if Master Yield, or like, you know, if there was just like a raid mob down there. I wouldn't put it past them. There was like a dragon in Throne Fast. I think a wyvern, technically, but you know, you guys saw it last stream. It was huge. I think there's a huge griffin in Throne Fast that we've seen. So this yellow bar in the middle of my screen is my endurance. Slowly ticks down while I sprint like this. If I let it go all the way to the bottom, then I won't be able to sprint for a while. But if I stop, you know, traditional sprinting rules. Are we gating? I'm just watching my whole group like disappear. Yep, it's time to gate. So that stone that we were just at is a bind stone. Anyone can walk up to it and interact with it and bind at their location. Usually they're like around cities. One of the things I really like and appreciate about Pantheon, maybe one of my favorite things, because it doesn't have a map, right? Which I also like that it doesn't have a map, but it does have this little thing around the class icon of everyone in your group that shows you their direction. You know what I mean? So if I was looking for Biggs, I could just follow this and it would take me to Biggs. Not like a little breadcrumb map, but it's just like a little compass pointer. I don't think it does anything for height. So yeah, you'd have to have a little bit of comms there. And since the game world is very it's like built very vertically, you know what I mean? Everywhere you go, you come across like big hills or cliffs where you have to climb to access things, or there's like hidden items atop mountains. Since all of that is there, it is a very real consideration. And you have to like consider, can I climb this? Like, do I have enough endurance to climb all the way up, or will I fall and just die from, you know, drop damage? All right, so this looks like, can we do this? These are all red to us. This is very sus. Burrowbrook scavengers. They might be closer to like level 14, 15. Grizzly's yellow, very doable. I feel like right now my character is most frequently strapped for readiness, like the default melee resource. Wrath, once you're in a steady combat state, once you have a camp, you just always you've always got plenty of Wrath unless you're really spamming something. But readiness is strictly time based, and it's always like the thing I'm waiting on. Yeah, a little bit of air taco, and that could be just me too. I've got an ability I'll show you guys in a second where I like pull enemies to me, and we've been playing around with that. Like if I stop and I hit it, they'll come right in front of me, but if I'm moving and I hit it, they'll like go, you know, behind me. And just trying to find that time, like how long do I need to stop to pull something perfectly right in front of me? What is the minimum amount of time to do that? No, it's not readiness that requires me to take damage, it's Wrath. And no, I think Pantheon is fundamentally a game that is like camp based, which is something I like about it. But Wrath is very much a resource that rewards you for being in combat constantly, and it drains relatively quickly when you're out of combat. Yeah, it feels very much like that. It's like the thing you do in EQ where you cast a spell and you're like, I don't know, you're like on a mount or you're running, right? And you want to stop and cast a spell before a mob catches you, and you're like, you have to stop, and you can't just like stop for like a fraction of a second and hit it. You have to like stop and count to 1 really quick. For a paladin, only from tanking, from tanking damage. Like a miss doesn't generate it; it has to hit me. But keep in mind that every class generates their unique resource in their own way, right? So, paladins is it's a flavor based thing, right? The paladin is built to stand in front and take damage on behalf of other people, so that's what you're rewarded for doing. Where the other classes all have their own little nuances. I forget what the Dire Lord is. I think it's like blood based, and it's based on like doing damage, the Shadow Knight equivalent, if you would. I've never played a warrior, so I don't know what theirs is at all. Shifty, thanks for the follow. And Dosi, thanks. Hey, how do rogues generate their unique resource? Yeah, so rogues generate theirs, Ghastly, by being in stealth. Anytime they're spent in stealth, they're accruing their wrath equivalent to spend. So you'll see, like with our 2 rogues, every time we're not in combat, they're like semi-invisible in stealth mode. And Shaman just has readiness. Well, I mean readiness and mana, right? Dread Pirate, what's going on, dude? Thank you so much for the resub. How do I feel about it, Rain? Yeah, so I have to preface it with saying I was a big fan of it last time, and I had a lot of fun with it last time. I haven't played it very much since then, so I came into it like yesterday with a fresh set of eyes, just reacclimated myself. Am I going to make it? It's questionable. I think I'm going to make it. But I like it. I like it a lot. For one thing, I could tell you the performance of the game has improved a lot. Like you'll see some hitching a little bit, some stuttering here, but I'm running into areas that are like not cached. You know what I mean? I've never seen them before. I'm looking across like massive like distances and stuff. But for me, I could tell you playing it, it feels smoother. The frame rate's better. I have everything like, you know, dialed up and stuff, and I'm not really having any big issues with it. So I like that. The gameplay feels good. I don't think Paladin was in last time. Dire Lord was the only thing that was in for a tank. And I really enjoy the Paladin so far. I like the flavor of it. I like the way the skills work. Yeah, I like it. Throne Fast was cool, and Throne Fast is huge. But I played in Throne Fast quite a bit. And it's nice to be in Avendyr's Pass right now, experiencing new content. I'm going to have to try to stop on this little precipice here and see if I can regain some of my stamina. Endurance. Goes up a lot faster when I sit. Yeah, this is meant to be... I don't know if the team would describe it this way, but it's meant to be a spiritual successor of EQ. I would think. It feels that way. It was conceived of by Brad McQuaid, you know what I mean? The late, great designer, developer. Wow, this is awesome. Yeah, so you guys are seeing this with me for the first time. Like, I've never seen this part of the zone before. Even back in the day, a long time ago, pre-2020, when I played in Avendyr's Pass. There's some kind of building all the way up there to the west, up that cliff. I don't think we can climb all the way, but... yeah, the climbing is fun. We're probably losing our top level spot running around here exploring this. I gotta eat. So right here you see the food and drink icons. This is my hunger and thirst. You have to manually consume food and drink. You don't have to do it terribly often, so it's not like a huge burden. I wonder if I'm going to make this. I think there's probably a spot up here I can rest. Yeah, Foob, there's an NDA for this game. I think I have it on my screen somewhere. Yeah, it's probably a little bit too gray. Let me get to the top of this. But yeah, you need the permission of Visionary Realms to stream Pantheon. Oh no, this is not good. Let's see, what's the damage? Okay, I landed on this lip and potentially saved my life. Let's do it. It looks like salamanders. Can I sit here? No, but I could stand. Oh shit, they're fighting up there, I think. Yep, dying. DA. That thing is hitting hard. 135 damage. There's nothing we could have done about that. With that amount of DPS, I don't think that we could have done anything against him. He's hitting me for like 130. I'm level 11 Shade Stomp. Do we want to go check out that Godai camp and clear it out? All right, let's go do it. We're going to rebuff and go out there. Right now, for testing purposes, there's no death penalty in. Like, I still have all my stuff. I didn't lose any EXP. Yeah, they were in voice telling me, like, hurry up, we're fighting up here. And I come up there, and it's like a mob that was just one-shotting everyone. What are you doing? Santa, you know, it feels very familiar. I think you would enjoy it. So they're doing a new thing now where basically pledgers of like almost every single level can play the game a certain amount of time. I think every month. So the barrier to entry is pretty low. Yeah, I'm not sure if they can confirm rain. I haven't asked. Yeah, $50, Dosi. Thank you for having the details there. $50 of pledge gets you 1 week per 6 weeks. So 1 week every season, or every section of the season. $250 pledge is like 2 weeks per sick. And then eventually you go up to being like 24/7 access. I don't know. I don't think it's. I mean, like when I'm looking at like these big vistas, it dips a little bit, but for the most part, I don't really have a problem with the frame rate. As a point of reference, my bit rate right now streaming to Twitch is over 8,000 and has been for the entirety of the stream. LOL, Swanee. I'm gonna pop that trickster over to us. So this is my little pool ability. Oh my god! It didn't. Did he resist it? I think maybe he resisted it. I swear this doesn't usually happen to me. There are some mastery points, but not. I don't think they're all in. I think Dire Lord has like everything has its mastery points, but yeah, Paladin doesn't have them all. I think so. Krychek. My philosophy with Pantheon, because I've been following it for a long time, has been like, when I'm playing it, I'm really into it, and when I'm not playing it or interacting with it, I just don't. You know what I mean? I'm not like waiting with bated breath, because when the game is in development for a long time, massive MMORPG like Pantheon aims to be, you can't be like checking on it every single day, right? You'll drive yourself crazy. Development takes time. Adding content takes time. But the thing that has always struck me is like when I'm in the game and I'm playing it, I'm having fun. Like the core systems work. There's a few like little tweaks and things like that every time I play that I think should happen. But I think there should be tweaks with EverQuest, and it's been out for 25 years. So nothing is perfect. Pantheon's not perfect, but it is a lot of fun when I'm actually in game and playing it. And it always feels to me like it's just a matter of like, add 15 more areas and 1,000 NPCs and ship it, baby. Let's go. But I know they have other metrics beyond just content that they look at, right? Like internal things like rendering pipelines that have to have certain qualities and stuff that's way above my head that they have to consider. But I've always had fun every time I've ever played it. Ghastly, yeah, I'll try it. EverQuest is a great game, and it is also like the worst game I've ever played. So 2025, and we can't get a server without a plat dupe active on EverQuest, right? Yeah, you think it comes down to endgame content, Hova? That's definitely the MMO mindset. Everyone is like obsessed with endgame, and I mean, like obviously I'm one of those people, right? Because I rush to endgame and then I raid and do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking more and more as I get older and I have less time to know life these games. I'm becoming biased in the opposite direction. I think, you know what I mean. I want a game where I adventure. I wanted to feel like EverQuest felt when I was 10 years old and I had no hope of ever raiding. That's what I wanted to feel like. Maybe you can never recapture that, but like it used to be cool just to hear about people fighting dragons in some faraway place that I would never see in game. You know what I mean? And it wasn't so much about me rushing to get there. That adventurous idea of like not knowing what's around that bend over there or what's down in that valley is kind of the feeling I want to recapture. And I think that, when I've had the opportunity to talk to Joppa, I think he's got that same mindset. It's about capturing that feeling of adventure. And the problem with trying to do that, not really a problem, but there's a mystique to that. You know what I mean? No one can really put their finger exactly on the pulse of what it is that makes that feeling in a person. You just do your best and hopefully you arrive there. But for the majority of the modern MMO audience, definitely endgame content, especially endgame raid content, is ultra important. And honestly, like there have been so many MMOs I've played that when they launched, not only was there no end game, but there was like barely an upper middle game. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't a way to reach end game content. You just like rush, and then halfway through, it's over. One AC, baby, let's go. My group's just dying while I fumble around trying to equip something. Yeah. Sanda was always fighting the dragon. It's got, I mean, you know what? It's important to have that same element, right? Is important for both sides of the coin. It's important that there is this crazy, amazing endgame thing for people who are never going to get there to think about and know it's out there. It makes the world feel cool and dangerous, mysterious. And it's important to like the high-end player. This is going to sound weird to say. It's important to the high-end player that there are people who don't experience that content. I believe that for a lot of players, the feeling of exclusivity is an important factor. The feeling that they're doing something legendary, right? Like when you play the video game, when you imagine yourself, you're driving home with the Pantheon box in your lap in your back seat, you know, your mom's driving you home, or the EverQuest box, and you're thinking about what the game's going to be like and what you're going to do. You're not thinking about you're not thinking about like, oh, I want to go like walk around a town and kill boars or bears, right? That's not your image. You imagine yourself like exploring like ancient tombs and fighting evil lords, and you know what I mean, like you're the hero in the story of your imagination, and that has to be a thing that can exist. But if every single person is doing that because it's easy or too accessible, then it just doesn't feel, it doesn't reach that feeling that you want to get. If everyone's a hero, no one is a hero. Yeah, standing in the local bazaar with your amazing gear that everyone can look at. Yeah, that's a problem like with all video games now, like data mining and the availability of content online. Like when an MMO comes out, the first time a raid is beaten, it's like streamed on Twitch to thousands of people, or if you're playing EverQuest, it's streamed on Twitch to 2 people who watch current era EverQuest thing, shot fired. But yeah, so that is a problem. It's all super available in your face all the time. I remember as a kid, like going through Alakazam and all those other websites, just like you would open a zone, open the bestiary, and you would click every like creature, every named creature, to pull up the image of what they looked like, because that was the only way that you could see, you know, what Lady Vox was. I agree, Air Taco. I think the original Bazaar is actually the best, better than Easy Tunnel personally, and way better than the modern Bazaar, which is terrible. I'm going to bring in some in-game sounds here. Let me know if they're too loud. Yeah, like being in a little trader's stall felt really, really cool. It felt like you were actually in a bazaar. The arena, the worst arena in the game because the zone lag was so bad. I actually kind of like first person in Pantheon. All my friends play in third person in this like, you know, standard modern MMO view. But I've kind of been enjoying this. Kid, what's going on, dude? I love it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The gameplay experience of playing Pantheon right now, I put at like an 8 out of 10. So this is a larger bandit camp out here, but it is currently camped. We're a little bit over leveled for it, maybe. Striker, yeah. Well, you know, I focus on the elements that I can control. That's not one of them. It feels like Vanguard gameplay, in my opinion. How do you guys like it first person? Do you prefer third person or first person? I'm getting immersed right now. I better go find my group. They're probably mad at me. Guess like third. It is massive. And the height adds a lot too. I'm glad we have a monk who can like halfway tank, since I'm screwing around so much here. Nighttime is rough for me, man. It's very dark. When I first started the stream, nighttime was active, so people got to see it immediately. It's very dark. Now, like, of course, humans have like no special vision or anything. And we're low level, so we don't have like magical items that give us magical light sources. All that kind of stuff is out for us right now. So all we have are like little lanterns on our belts, or you can carry a torch. But then if you're carrying a torch, I have to get rid of my shield or my sword. So I would use a torch if I was strictly exploring an area at night. Yeah, I'm not too hung up on the models right now. Pantheon models have changed so many times over the years that I've watched streams and played Pantheon, you know what I mean? That I just like, all I care about is the gameplay. The graphics just like don't mean anything to me at all. Chaotic Inertia, thanks for the resub. Thank you, thank you. Do snakes kick? I think snakes do kick. I haven't watched the combat log of fighting a snake in years, but at least at one point they did kick. 2, 3, half our group just went down. Do you guys want a gate? How did you guys die? I don't know if you guys can see this right here. The spider used a conal AoE right after one of the rogues stole aggro and just blasted everybody on that side. And they died shortly thereafter. Yeah, Tarsal Fury gets you. They're not too far. You guys want to run back, or do we want to go back and get them? Okay. Unfortunately, our healer was one of the casualties, so we're going to hang tight for a second. Let's talk about mastery. So, some abilities have mastery in Pantheon. If you watch all the streams, you, of course, are familiar with this. But they're basically like, you develop mastery points as you level up and kill monsters. It's not one for one with EXP. So like if you're getting slow EXP, you might get a lot of mastery points. I think it's based on kill numbers. But you get these mastery points, and then you can put them into abilities that you like and further develop those abilities. So like I've maxed out Faithful Strike, increases my weapon damage when I bonus on the ability by 25%, increases healing to 30% of the damage that I do, and then finally it goes all the way up to 40% of the damage I do, and does an additional 25% weapon bonus. So that's an ability that when I use it, it heals me and does damage to a target. The heal is proportional to the damage I do, and as a paladin, I don't do a lot of damage, so... Goose, what's up? See if we can get to the top of this while they're coming. My climbing skill has gone up by plus 0.1. Yeah, Too Tired to Care has explained the mastery system in chat there. 100 kills, 1 mastery point. Oh, Newmore, what's up, dude? What level are you, Too Tired? Are you guys still messing around in Goblin Caves? There's a way to, like, climb down, but I don't know it. Kumu's back, mana half. All right, we're in it. This ability here, Vigilance, I haven't really used it yet. I've only recently purchased it. Creates a bond of celestial light with a target ally for 10 minutes, causing certain abilities to restore health to that ally when used. Nice. Right now I have it on Kumu, our healer, and it's got no cost, so there's no reason to not just use it all the time. Set climbing to shift in the settings. Yeah, I should do that. I feel like I have a lot of things to remember with my abilities right now. I'm like 280 HD to keep up with it all. Like, I should be using Righteous Flame basically every 20 seconds. Popping Light Guard when appropriate during combat. Keeping up my Hymn and Vigilance. We're definitely not maxing out our effectiveness here. Oh, there's a cave over there. There, that's my grab ability. Right now, this is a game where it's DPS race wins. Imagine a paladin running by and just snagging your named mob like that. Yeah, it's fun. When it comes out, it'll be like it'll feel like EverQuest all over again. Unless you really like that particular flavor of EQ jank, I think. We probably can't do the Ratkin right now, right? You think they assist through the wall? Yeah, human is the only race available right now. They're basically like redesigning all the playable character models, I think. But at one point we had ogre, human, elf, and maybe a fourth one. I can't remember. Gnome. Yeah, gnome was in for sure. But now they're just like redoing all the models. I've seen the new ogre. It looks really awesome, I think. Yeah, let's go do that. Oh. I was not necessarily ready for this. Where is he going? What is happening to him? What's going on with him? He's trying to stay a certain distance away from me. So when I move, he runs away. Interesting. I'm out of wrath. Need more wrath. Yeah, he's not getting weaker. Let's try to reset him. Let's just all run west. Nope. Still here. He's not leashing. Let's see if we can attack him now. Okay, we lost him. He's gone. Woo. Oh, did they aggro something over here? Let's see if we could do this without our healer up. So I wonder if that was because of the way I was moving him originally, or if he like got stuck in that rock when we pulled him. He kind of came over through the corner. I'm not sure. Not sure what it was. But yeah, we were not doing any damage to him. No Goblin Caves this time. Goblin Caves are in Throne Fast. I'm trying to mostly check out stuff in AVP. This is our rogue in stealth mode. First, do you have a shirt? Your character appears shirtless to me. You guys killed Rakian at level 8? Interesting. Yes, Slassic. You can't like really train people because once it leashes, it's going to return home before it resets its like aggro capability. We ready to go try this again? Just fight him at his spawn point. It wasn't always like that, but yeah, now it is. My understanding is that you have to run 200 feet, which is further than it seems. 200 feet from their, whatever is on their path line, you know what I mean? And then they'll reset and they'll go all the way home. Goose, I can stream 2 hours from the time we started showing gameplay, so till about 6, we start at 6:35-ish, so we'll go to 8:35. Still level 11. Close to 12. We're like a bubble and a half from 12. We're definitely not the highest anymore. Nah, we didn't hit a wall. We're just like we're in Avendyr's and we don't know where everything is yet. You know what I mean? We haven't found like ideal camps and stuff. Whereas we know the leveling route in Throne Fast very well. So if we stayed in Throne Fast, we'd probably be like 13-ish now. Yeah, let's go try rats. Can't type. Yeah, Throne Fast right now has really good EXP. Avendyr's Pass does not have that good EXP. But I didn't want to do like the 500th Throne Fast stream, so. I think they're different in different areas. It feels like 10 to 15 minutes. Biggs, do you know what the respawn time actually is for outdoor overland? Apparently it's like 6 minutes. Yeah, my only concern, like for today, was getting to whatever highest level I could before we started streaming so that we would have the most open to us in this zone. And our goal was actually to hit level 6. We wanted to hit 6. So being 11, we were way beyond what we were hoping for. And now with a week between streams and stuff, plenty of time to do whatever we want. Level other characters. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that yet. Our monk says hang back here. The rogues immediately all run up in the camp with their stealth. Yeah, that guy hit hard. He's stuck facing away from me, but he is attacking me. Yeah, he's attacking me. Interesting. Were we able to hit them? I mean, you killed some, right? We're not able to land any hits on them right now. The same issue we had with the troll a second ago, so I don't know if maybe we need to like zone or something, but I can't do any damage to this at all. Everything is missing. Yeah, we just missed a 100% hit rate, so we just have to ditch this, right, and run back. They attack with their butts. He's just tail whipping me, man. Were they deep red to you? Hey, Joppa, good to see you. No, I was talking about something else. We should just try to kill like a random mob just to make sure, you know what I mean? We're able to engage stuff properly. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it was probably just a level differential thing for those then. Yeah, those things were level 26 apparently, so. Joppa says we should try asps, whisper wind asps around the shrine pool. Perfect. Yeah. Severed hand. I guess he ate somebody's hand. Yeah, these feel like normal combat-ish, right? So this is giving you like a really good look of what the time to kill is generally. East over here by the tree. I don't know if you guys see this right here, but once you loot a mob, you can also skin most types of mobs. So you like that's like a gathering resources thing. Our shaman is having some issues with his pet, I think. The snake is wild. It's like half dinosaur. It's like little wing things. Alexander, what's going on, dude? Diogenes, will you be playing on the new TLP in May? Well, you're getting it. We're in an area that I would say is sort of like equivalent to West Corona with a lot of hills. Or like Kano Hills, I suppose. It's like the zone right after a newbie zone. No, they haven't announced the rules yet. Yeah, Tam. I was given the opportunity to select a time slot, basically. I don't know, Striker. What do you play now? What was the last progression server you did? I do not know. I'm not positive. Pull who the next streamer is, or how you could find out. I think they're letting the individual streamers do the, you know, the advertising of those streams. This area looks awesome, man. Watch my group die. This looks great. This reminds me of like the poison rivers in Kenshi. They've got like purple trees and stuff. Oh, on Cello, Diogenes? I think it was so minor compared to the other elements, and it was so brief that it just kind of went unnoticed. What is this guy? Ah, he's a good guy. Discovered a faction, Dwan. Dude, I love Kenshi so much. It's such a great, incredible game, and I haven't really found any other game that is really like it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, am I playing an RPG or am I playing an RTS? It's just kind of like in the middle somewhere. Super original. It's when you went over to the dark side, man. Could it be as good as Vanilla EQ? Well, Tam, I have two things to say about that. Vanilla EQ is terrible, but it's also my favorite game. So I'm biased because, like, how can you say a game could beat your favorite game, right? Especially when your favorite game is awful. So I don't know. Could it be for most people? Yeah. But I think to beat Classic EQ or to be comparable to Classic EQ, you'd have to have a similar mind state to what you had when you first played Classic. Like, if you played Classic as a 30-year-old, maybe, after you had played other games similarly, like, if your first time playing Classic EQ was, like, P99 or a TLP, then absolutely this could be way better than that. But if you played it when you were 10 years old in 1999, well, it's hard to find much, you know what I mean, that would beat that experience as a young kid and the way it would impact your mind and your creativity. I'm gonna try my DA. It looks like I'm still doing damage, and I can still hold aggro. So this is an ability I can use every 5 minutes. It takes 2 reckoning points, which is actually pretty dang steep. And it gives me 10 seconds of invulnerability, including to stun root and mezzes and stuff like that. But it looks like, unlike Divine Aura, it allows me to hold aggro. Though I wasn't able to get healed. It looked like the Mantle of Mist was just like doing nothing. So that's pretty wild. Having like 10 seconds of straight no damage. I can only imagine once we like put a bunch of mastery points into it and stuff. Yeah, that's true, Diogenes. All those other things. The internet has ruined the mystery of video games. Yeah, this is really fun. Something over here is affecting my frame rate when I look in this direction. Over that cliff. Alright, what time is it? We're in the deep part of the night. No, actually, we're in the beginning of the night. It's like 7 p.m. game time. I am told that it stops me from getting healed, but it's a bug, and will eventually not stop me from getting healed. Cool. So you're just like fully functional, but can't take damage. I need to get with my group, because it's very easy to get lost at night. I can see their lights. Also, the idea, like, one thing about classic EQ is like what you imagine as vanilla EQ is like vanilla EQ after years of content was added, or at least 1 year of content was added for most people, like Payneal, the whole. I didn't even think Catch Keep was actually in game. I need to get my endurance all the way back. I don't even think Catch Keep was actually in game day one of classic EQ. A lot of it was added after. The first time Lady Vox and Nagafen were killed, it was just like GMs showing up handing out items because they weren't itemized. Tam, my group is myself as a paladin. What's going on here? I'm stuck. Oh boy. Myself as a paladin, we have a monk Biggs, a wizard Zinix, 2 rogues, First and Quina, and a shaman, which is our only healer, Kumu. I think I'm gonna die. I got kind of stuck on a weird ledge. Oh, thank goodness. There's a tree in my face. Yeah, I noticed that too, Tired, that a lot of buffs are basically MGBs, which is pretty crazy. I mean, I can't say I mind it necessarily, because playing a shaman with single target buffs would be pretty cancerous. But like, what's the point of mastery, right? Our group is not very well rounded. We're like a glass cannon, all DPS. Just hope that the shaman combined with the paladin is durable enough to not die to something while we burn it down. A lot of groups right now in Pantheon are running 2 healer setups, so they'll have a cleric and a shaman. One of the other top groups, I think it might be 2 Tires group, is like cleric, shaman, enchanter, paladin, monk, wizard. So that group is pretty much unkillable. But it doesn't seem like it would be a lot of DPS. I think I could just drop here. Yeah. Alright, we're back at Demeth. Valorous, thanks for the follow. Go sell really quick. Keep that. One thing I really don't like right now, this chat window, this thing where he's like, you'd be surprised how useful a little skill with a needle can be. If I hit goodbye to this, it closes the whole vendor inventory thing. It takes up too much of my screen real estate, having that big chat box. I want it to be like, I'm okay with them opening at the same time that I open the vendor screen, but I want to be able to close it and just have the for sale goods. It looks like my group is up to some shenanigans here. What are we doing here? I'm not going to climb up that part. It's going to be like impossible for me. All right, let's go. Yeah, no matter what you do, you have to have both of them open. It wasn't always like that. I'm 1,000% confident it's not the final. It's not going to be that way in the final product. You know what I mean? Because it's just so obvious. This is going to hurt. I need to start climbing down. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to climb up this thing. I do need more climbing skill. You know, to be fair, it's raining and stuff. Where to? Where'd you guys go? Yeah, I'll be able to climb up here. There used to be a ring that you could find that gave you like a big climbing bonus, like a climbing ring or something like that. Might be able to... I don't know about that. Maybe that little lip there? We're gonna die. Stop! Oh god. I made it. Yeah, I just used my gate ability, don't worry. Why my health is so low. Ranger gate. Server first ranger. Some of these guys, like Biggs especially, is really, really good at climbing shit. We used to play and they'd be like, yeah, to get to this area, you need to do like these 3 jumps, climb here, and then jump here and climb there. And I'd be like, what? It'd take me like an hour to figure out how to do the climbing puzzle that they were doing. I felt like I was playing like Destiny. Have you ever done a raid in Destiny? Let's go see if that troll is back. Yes, too tired. Yeah. All those zones kind of like blur together for me. I remember doing those raids and thinking like, what would happen in EverQuest if this kind of jumping puzzle was introduced? Like all these boomers would, no offense, boomers, all these elderly EverQuest gamers would probably just quit. Green. Honestly, for a green, she takes a lot of damage. First is fast on that loot. G'day, thief. Seethes with hatred, eager to slay you. Too tired. Do you play EQ1 as well, or just EQ2? And like the next 5 questions I ask, if you say yes, are going to be what server, what TLP, what guild. Castle? Okay, yeah. You're in one of the P99 guilds that doesn't have a terrible reputation. That's cool. This is like a panther. It makes me want to make a Black Panther skin tunic. Oh, nice. Imperceptible goals is awesome. TBK, what's going on, dude? Thanks for the resub. Good to see you here, man. Oh, IG before Mischief. I don't even know if I remember Are You Not Entertained on Mischief. Are they still around? How long were they there? Or are they like newish? I definitely remember Imperceptible Goals on Mischief. Some of the like mid-late EQ expansions have mechanics that are a little bit more involved, but there's rarely ever a mechanic where it's like if this one person fails it, everyone loses. You know what I mean? And it's never tight enough that losing one person who stupidly failed a mechanic and died causes you to like wipe the whole raid. It's just like a way for everyone to tell who's really bad in the raid, and then you still win, and then you say, hey, don't be bad again. Every now and then they throw one of those raids in there, though, where you do wipe if the dumbest person in the raid doesn't do the right thing, and everyone freaks out. I don't know if have you ever raided Demiplane? Demiplane is not a good example of this, I guess, but there's a fight in Demiplane called Sisters, and I've had a monk like straight up just guild quit because we asked him to do Sisters, and he was like, I will not do Sisters. Like, okay, I'll just do it on a warrior, whatever. I didn't enjoy post-pop. Gotcha. There's a raid event where basically like 3 people have to run around and say correct messages to NPCs that are moving through hostile areas. And you have like a limited window each wave to do it. And there's like a quick puzzle. Like each character is like telling a lie about another character kind of thing. You have to communicate back and forth. And you traditionally want to have monks do that because they can FD through all the hostile stuff, or if something aggroes them, they can just flop until it's gone. But we have a lot of camp monks, if you know what I mean, in EQ these days. They don't like to pool. They just want to stay in camp and auto attack. Yeah, Trial of Creation, Krychek. Sounds like mages pretty much. Oh, baby, ding 12. There's probably like level 14s on this server now. Who all 13? Who all 12? Okay. We're tied for the highest. At least in this, I don't know if I'm pulling the whole server or if I'm just pulling up this zone. I'm probably just pulling up the zone. This is a test, Tyrus. Every 6 weeks, they're adding fresh content to the testing platform, basically. And different tiers of people who have backed, supported, or pledged to the game get to play a different amount of time in the season. So we went over the the week by week breakdown a little bit earlier, but right now streaming is pretty limited. I think there's like 4 or 5 people who are streaming it right now, and probably I would guess sometime soon we'll see that number grow. The best part about playing a rogue is if I ran off and like looked at cool stuff while I was streaming, no one cared. All raid mobs have that ability. In EverQuest 2, if someone dies that's on the hate list, it heals 5 to 10%. So like a wipe, basically, like one of those like semi or half wipes just basically full resets it really quickly. Man, it's spoopy over here. I wonder what this looks like in the daylight. I need to, I'm like lost in the magical fog. Here we go. Dude, two-handed rogues are my jam. I love having a fat two-hander as a DPS class. Oh, here we go. Troll was here. Where'd he go? I just saw him. I wonder if he's like stuck under the world or something. We need an adult. Something caused him to break when we leashed him. Dude, I don't have a torch. I have a lantern on my belt. See this? Look, I can see this far. Okay? Don't grief me. That's far enough. Dang, my group like jetted out of there. Looks like they're below me. Yep. All right, we're gonna take a leap of faith. That seems like a lot. I could use a patch heal. No, too tired. I played like 6 months ago, and not really much before that for a long time. Joran Pharaoh. Our monk's like, yeah, the item he dropped sucked. Don't worry, you don't have to look at it. I'm just gonna power loot that. All those funny little bugs when you're adding new stuff. Dark Metal Maul. Two-handed. 22 physical damage. I like this guy's haircut. It's how I want to look when I grow up. Speaking of dupes, recording the Mischief Plat dupe episode tomorrow. It's going to be a spicy one. TBK, oh man, it's so good. I'm like a queso addict these days, dude. I can't stop. Ever since I got onto like chopping up my own cheese and stuff. In fact, now that you mentioned it, when this stream is over, I'm going to go sabotage my diet. That thief lived a lot longer than I expected it to live. Casual, we're going to be going for like 20 more minutes. 19-ish more minutes. That Cabot Farms habanero cheese is super good. 10 out of 10 cheese. I recommend everyone in the chat try it. It's called like wickedly hot habanero cheese. It's not wickedly hot. It's just appropriate level of hot. This looks like Amber Heard. I like that her face is like changing as we fight. You know what I mean? Like she's making all these kinds of expressions. Very expressive. I got mine at the commissary, but I've seen it at like Publix. They don't really carry it at Walmart in my experience. I don't think I've seen it at Target either. So that, yeah, like Publix or Wegmans, your higher, slightly upper end grocery store should carry it. Does your Walmart carry it? I'm jealous, dude. My Walmart does not carry it. That's probably what it is, yeah. I'm glad to find a fellow habanero cheese lover. See, I always knew you were a good dude, Air Taco. I do not have the ability to delay my gratification long enough to Amazon order something, nor the executive function necessary to order it in advance. Too tired. I wake up one day and I decide I need it, and I drive and immediately get it that day. They have their own dock. It's weird to get a bearing because I didn't know where we were really, but now I see that like you zone in, you go across the bridge, you take like a sharp right, and it brought us down into this area. What was I supposed to see? They were trying to get me to see something. Oh well. Yeah, too tired. So these are becoming light blue to us. I feel like there's like a little bit of gap in what we would want to do now. It would almost be better to split into like a 3-person group and focus on small manning, snakes and stuff. I think duoing is like the fastest EXP in my experience. You know what I mean? Like every time you add a person to the group, it's another division, so it's slower, but you balance it with the kill speed and the survivability and all that. But if you're gonna be like farming blues, duoing is a really good spot. Shaman Monk, classic combo. Even Paladin Monk with Oath Flame. Black Fox, I love it. Yeah, I'm having a ton of fun. I was saying right now, it's like an 8 out of 10 from the gameplay perspective. Like, just playing the gameplay loop with my friends, 8 out of 10. And if I found a zone that I was like really, you know, like a zone I really loved, it could easily be a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? If I found Lower Guck of Pantheon or Crystal Caverns, this could easily be a 10 out of 10 territory for me personally. I'm snared by this like Frost Blast. It's my little AoE. I don't even think we have seen, like, there's in Avendyr's Pass, there's this huge area in the north that is all covered in snow. It's like Dreadlands, you know what I mean? Where like it's so big that the climate changes. And up there, I think there are like massive orc camps and stuff like that. So in future weeks, it'll be exciting to go check those areas out. I really like my character model when I use my pull technique. I had something where I just like put my arm up like Captain America style too. I don't remember what ability it was though. Maybe that. I think that looks pretty cool. The new art, you know what? When I saw screenshots of the new art when it was first presented, I hated it. I was like, "Oh, this is the worst." I was very I was not thinking very highly of it. But the thing is, it looks a lot better in game. You know what I mean? Like screenshot doesn't really do it justice. Seeing it in motion, I don't know, it just doesn't feel bad. I'm not crazy about the tree. But other than that, I like everything. All the other graphics I'm enjoying. Just that tree, I'm not crazy about. Oh baby, I got an earring. 1 armor class. Let's go. No, these graphics aren't final. No. But this was, you know, representing the new direction, I guess, in graphics that they were going. I am not hip to like all the nuances of it, but there was like, you know, it's a big part of the reason that the game is like running smoother and stuff. And I thought the screenshots just looked terrible, but the gameplay live, you know what I mean, in the world, feels good, looks good. I like it. Something about seeing it in motion just makes it feel a lot better. Yes, thank you, Joppa, for this amazing opportunity. This camp area is pretty big. If you're like below their level, I don't know if you could even clear it before respawns would happen. Oh, dude, my pleasure, Joppa. I look forward to streaming more, tackling like some nice hard content. Wow, look at how smooth it just got. I just got blessed by the god of frames. Feeling nice there. It's so nice having it be daylight again. It'll be fun. I remember the first time. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. I'm gonna say something and risk getting in trouble. I think maybe I've said it before though. I remember the first time I killed Nashra, like 5 years ago in Halnir Cave, and it was awesome. The fight was awesome. And Joppa woke up. Somebody woke Joppa up. He logged in at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to congratulate us because we were like the first group to kill Nashra. That was super fun. Like you walk into this room, the door closes behind you, so it's a sort of encounter locking in a way. And then there's like ads coming in and all these different abilities he uses. It was fun. I mean, like for a group mob, it was really outstanding. Kahal, thanks for the resub. 3 months. That might have been my favorite moment in Pantheon. Yeah, verbal NDAs dropped. Can I talk about like the old days, the good old days? I don't know. Probably no one cares. Talking about stuff from like 5 years ago. Definitely awesome. Well, getting to play and hang out ever so slightly with Brad McQuaid was cool. Getting to do those first couple runs in Halnir Cave, like doing was Harafna, the big spider boss in there, doing Nashra was great. And then eventually getting strong enough to like go into like the poison trench underneath the zone and fighting Bloodlich Shangsa. Those were all peak moments. And I loved the ghosts in the basement that had like a laser beam attack. It always looked so cool. I was like, I don't want to get killed by that laser beam, but I do want you to kill someone in my group so that I can see it. I am excited, like chomping at the bit to take a swing at Halnir Cave again and see how it's been reimagined, and hopefully go toe to toe with good old Nashra once again. There used to be this kind of spider that was in Halnir Cave that was like had very low HP, but did a tremendous amount of damage to where it would like kill someone if it got into melee range with you. And they were great EXP because they died so fast though. So we would all just like target it, count to 3, and all nuke at the same time to kill it before it could move. And that's how we would always deal with those spiders. Ike, what's going on, dude? Oh, we have Jor and Pharaoh here again. I need Wrath. Look at first. Looting before we even clear the camp. Dude, I love the Lego movie. I watched it with my daughter this morning, actually. Funny enough. Too tired. Have you had any like negative, like have you had any contested camps since you've started playing in pre-alpha? Earlier today there was a moment when you guys were like a level ahead of us and you were at the top undead camp, and I was like, I don't know, dude, their group doesn't have a lot of DPS classes, why don't we just sit on top of them? But we opted to go to the lower undead camp instead. I think it would be fun, you know what I mean? But I think there's concerns about hurt feelings and stuff like that. Skelly's camp seems like a common one. It's like one of the very early like quick bottlenecks in Throne Fast if you want to optimize EXP, right? Wrathful Aegis actually pulled aggro from like all 3 of those mobs onto me there. That was actually super useful. Can't believe it. I should do a Drama Quest episode on Pantheon. Biggs has a lot to say about DPS races right now. Too tired. Level check. We're level 12 right now, Valorous. 20 strength, 21 stamina, 19 constitution, 157 AC. Don't ask why. A little bit buggy right now, Truck. Something happened where it was like not doing anything and it couldn't go away or die or be resummoned. I think there was like an instance where he died and the pet didn't die, and that bugged it out for a bit. For those who don't know, this is like I think this is the first time we've had the shaman pet in game, like today. So there's of course going to be like a fresh series of bugs and stuff that need to be explored and posted about. It's definitely not incredible, you know what I mean? It's not making a huge difference where when he summoned it, we were like, whoa, that pet is doing stuff, you know what I mean? It's just a small contribution to the overall DPS, I would say. He was recalling a different encounter, I think. Too tired. I wasn't at any of the contested stuff, you know what I mean? Like, you guys are basically new people to me. So I'm not gonna advocate one way or the other. Yeah, I came back from not playing PA for a while, and other than Vandrat, I like don't recognize anyone. It's all new people. Tons of new backers, or people I just hadn't seen before, I suppose. Yeah, well, I mean, the shaman is already so good. Like, I don't think the pet needs to be better than what it is. We were talking about that. We're like, the shaman class in Pantheon right now is incredible. It doesn't need any buffs. You grouped with me? I don't know. I never played P99 as Zaid, so. Tolmart, thanks for the follow. I played an incognito character called Not Your Day. Yeah, right now the shaman is kind of like a can do it all, but it does it all really, really good. But it's hard. It's hard to balance like the needs of like the whole gameplay loop, right? Because what other dot class is there, right? You know what I mean? Like for some niches, the shaman at points in development has been like the only thing that does that, even though it's the only, you know, it's only supposed to be like dipping a toe into like dotting or certain kinds of buffs or certain kinds of healing. But if it's the only thing that's doing it right now, it's going to be strong. Yeah. And the other thing is just like 1 through 20 is one thing, but who knows what it looks like at 50? You know what I mean? Can a shaman heal effectively for a named content at upper levels, especially with same named heal over time spells not stacking? I don't know. No one knows, I guess. I think we saw the mage in one of the previous pre-alphas, Zentek. So the first swing at the mage, aka summoner, I think has been around. Bard, I think, is going to be like the last class that we see. Bard and Necromancer will be the very end. Interesting, Demris. Good to know. Oh, actually, you know, when we were talking about the races that existed earlier. Oh, by the way, we're in our last minute here, okay, folks. But there was that race of rock people that looked really good. They had like magma veins and stuff like that. White hair. Anyway, as we wrap this up, folks, I just want to say a big thanks to everyone who came out and enjoyed the stream. I hope you have a good view of Pantheon from this. It is a lot of fun, like I said, 8 or 9 out of 10 for the gameplay loop. Actually playing it with your friends, wonderful experience. I'm excited to see more content and to be able to show you all hopefully some more fresh content as we go. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And with that said, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Pirate, if you don't have any friends, you can come hang out with us and we'll be your friends. All right, folks, I got to get out of here before I go over my deadline and they send assassins to come kill me or something, okay? So everyone have a great night. Hope to see you again next Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here exploring new and exciting areas of Avendyr's Pass.